Hello class, so I want to talk with you about high color contrast. And high color contrast, in a very simple way, means colors that are highly different. And high color contrast was very common in the type of pop art painting that we were learning. And colors can be highly different with regard to their three properties: hue, value, and saturation. So a color could have a contrast of hue. So yellow and violet have strong hue contrast, okay? They're very far from each other on the color wheel. Whereas yellow and yellow green have a low hue contrast. Okay, so let's look at these colors. So this color has a hue of yellow, this color has a hue of blue. So they have high hue contrast. So yellow and blue are far from each other on the color wheel. Okay, green and this has a hue of red violet. Okay, these colors, green, red, violet, are far from each other on the color wheel. So they have high hue contrast. These colors have low hue contrast. So this is red and red orange. Red and red orange have low hue contrast. Actually, this is blue and this is really the same hue, so it has low hue contrast. Okay, color can also have contrast of value. Okay, two colors that have values that are far from each other on the color wheel will have high value contrast. Two colors that have values that are close to each other on the color wheel will have low value contrast. So these two colors, okay, have high value contrast. This one's really dark, this one's really light. Same goes for this one. But these two colors have low value contrast. Their values are very close to each other. Colors can also have a contrast of saturation. Saturation being how bright or dull a color is. Okay, so two colors with very different saturations will have high saturation contrast. Okay, such as these two colors. This one's really bright and this one's really dull. This one's really bright and this is really dull. So there's high hue contrast here, or high saturation contrast here, and so is there high saturation contrast here. However, these two colors are very similar in contrast, okay, or more similar in contrast. So they have low saturation contrast. Okay, but in reality, colors can, vary in multiple properties, such as these two colors. So these colors vary with regard to hue. Okay, this is a violet and this is a yellow. But also with regard to value. This one's darker and this one's lighter. Okay, let's look at some real life examples. So here's two paintings by Roy Lichtenstein. Okay, and you can see in this area between the blue and the red, okay, we have strong contrast of hue. Between the blue and the yellow, strong contrast of hue and value. Okay, between the skin and the yellow of the hair, we have a strong contrast of hue. No, we have a strong contrast of saturation. It's much brighter than that one. Okay, between the skin and this black, we have a strong contrast of value. If we look at one of these works, let's look at the face and the upper body. So there's a strong contrast of hue. Okay, this is green and this is like a red violet. We also have a strong contrast of value. So these colors have high contrast. We also have high color contrast in the face and the background. If we look at this one, we have high color contrast between the face and the background, the face and this blue part. Okay, but I mean, not every single section is going to have high color contrast. I mean, between the upper torso and this orange, not so much. Okay, so not every single not everything's going to have high color contrast, but there are many sections that have high color contrast. So I wanted to show this to you because it's something you can integrate into your pop art painting. You don't have to, but it is something if you're interested in, you can integrate into your pop art painting. And I don't want you to get too analytical with it, but just so that you can understand how colors can differ, I went through this and explained it to you.